Hi, everyone. Welcome to the weekly Twingate office hours, where we look at various security challenges and how Twingate can help you solve them.
Hi everyone, my name is Emil and I'm the head of platform innovation at Twingate. If you're not familiar with Twingate, it is a zero trust remote access solution that is an alternative to VPNs and allows you to securely connect to your internal resources, no matter which cloud they're in or even if they're on premises.
And my name's Shree, and I work as a DevOps content manager here at Twingate. And this week, we're going to talk about deploying Twingate using Pulumi. So, Emerald, to start off, you mind walking us through what exactly Pulumi does?
Yes, Pulumi is in the category of infrastructure as code. It's a relatively recent addition to development, and it allows you to essentially program your infrastructure requirements. So that'll be your requirements, your security, firewall rules, virtual machines in code, essentially. And so you end up with a script that is reproducible, is testable. You can easily bring things up, you can bring them down.
Okay, great. And you mind showing us how that works?
Yeah, we have a video prepared as a demo. So in this video, we're going to be using Pulumi Crosswalk, which is a collection of resources that Pulumi have packaged to give you best practice creation management of VPCs. I also have my Twingate admin console, and I have my EC2 management console. So you can see I've got a couple of VPCs in here, and I'm going to be creating a new one today. So I spent the day reading through the documentation of Pulumi. It is very cool, and I created this little script. So in this script, we see that I've done it in IntelliJ. You can use any editor you like, and I've also done it in JavaScript, but Pulumi supports multiple. So here you can see that the first thing I do is create a VPC. And there's actually a VPC extension inside Pulumi Crosswalk. And so this will not just create the VPC, but create a bunch of other things like internet gateways, NAT gateways, etc. You can see the whole list of what can be configured by looking at the built-in help that's included with Pulumi. And once again, this is available in every language that Pulumi supports. The next thing I do is I just save the list of public subnets. So we'll create one public subnet per availability zone by default. I'm going to define a Twingate remote network here that I want to have created inside Twingate. And finally, I start actually defining what I want in AWS. So I need to get the AWS AMI. And here's the interesting thing. I can go through in a loop with every public subnet ID that I have and execute some code inside of it. If you're familiar with Terraform, it's just really difficult to do that in Terraform. So this is one area where Pulumi definitely shines. It's much easier to read and reason about Pulumi-based code. And you can see here that for each subnet, public subnet, I'm creating a Twingate connector and a set of tokens. And what I do is once I've got those tokens, I define an EC2 instance that I want to be in that public subnet. And I use the user data feature to basically have some script that executes on startup. This will actually set my Twingate configuration. I can do a lot more in here if I wanted. I can sort of set up all sorts of other services and some defaults, but that's all we're doing. It's very basic, and it's all less than 70 lines. So I can go into my terminal and run Pulumi preview, and within a few seconds, it's going to give me a list of what executing this script would do. So you can see that it's going to, for my stack, define one VPC and a bunch of NAT gateways, internet gateways, etc. And essentially it gives me a nice little tree diagram of how everything is going to hang together if I go ahead and provision this. So the question is, how do I then provision this? Well, I will type Pulumi up, and that will instruct Pulumi to create this stack that I've done. So here we go. It will give me a similar sort of output to preview, and it'll ask me to confirm. So yes, I'll go ahead and confirm. And once I've confirmed, it'll start creating the entire stack. Now, if you had to do this manually, it could take quite a while. And I don't really know many people that do it manually anymore because it's just too time consuming and prone to human error. It does take a couple of minutes, so we just need to be patient, especially when it comes to slower things like NAT gateways.
Got it. And Emerald, can you speak a little bit more to some of the benefits of Pulumi versus Terraform? I know you alluded to one earlier.
Yeah, so the fact that you can use natural programming logic, sort of for loops, huge plus. The other great one is Terraform is its own language. It's a bit of a script. Pulumi is actually code, and it's code in any language that your development team will be familiar in. So that could be Python, JavaScript, TypeScript, .NET, even Java or Go. And that means that you don't need to learn necessarily a whole new programming language in order to use Twingate. Sorry, in order to use Pulumi. And that means you can leverage your existing team skills in order to spin up infrastructure very quickly.
Okay, got it. And when should a customer choose to use Pulumi over Terraform?
If you've already got Terraform skills in house, Terraform experts, Terraform makes a lot of sense. It's not going away anytime soon. Pulumi has a lot of distinct advantages. Again, my main suggestion would be if you have development teams that are familiar with the programming language that Pulumi sort of is supporting, or if your team likes to create code that they can read easily without relying on Terraform experts, then it should be Pulumi all the way. So that's just completed now, and everything is up. So we can take a look at Twingate, and if I refresh my admin console, then I should see the TG demo remote network is now there, and you can see it's been created with two connectors that are already online. Right, so this has saved me a ton of time, and I'm ready to use this remote network. I can create resources as I need to. If we look
Okay,
over at
perfect.
the management console, yeah, so we need to go back to the management console now and just take a look at what's happened. So I'm going to refresh, and you can see there's a TG demo VPC, and we've got 4 subnets now. We've got one subnet that's private, one subnet that's private in each availability zone. So if I look at this one, I can see this is in EUS2B. I look at the other public subnet, that's in EUS2A. I look at the private subnet, and I can see that's in EUS2B as expected. And if I look at the other public one, EUS2A. So this is highly available VPC setup, best practices. We have NAT gateways inside our private subnets, etc. And if I go look in the EC2 view, I can see that there's 2 instances created online, etc. So basically, if I didn't have a VPC and everything else set up with EC2 instances, this could have taken me quite easily 30 minutes plus, if not longer, if it was my first time. But because I just ran a script, I could bring it up instantly, and I can run this in other regions. But the really cool thing is I can also just do Pulumi down and just take the whole infrastructure down again. So it will tell me that it's going to delete everything that I just created. And if you have had to delete things in AWS before, it's very difficult. Things can be left hanging that you don't even know about. This way of doing it will make sure everything that was created when I ran Pulumi up will be reversed, and the infrastructure will end up looking like it was before I ran the script at all, which is great if you want to try things out, if you want to save some cost and make sure that you haven't left a NAT gateway hanging somewhere. This is an excellent way to do it. And all of this done in 60 lines of code also. And obviously this is quite bare bones, but even production level stuff in Pulumi is not that broad in terms of how many lines of code it takes.
Okay, awesome. Well, thanks for walking us through that, Emerald. Great stuff. And thanks again,
Thank you very
everyone,
much.
for joining us this week. Hope you found today's show useful. Please feel free to shoot over any follow-up questions to us or any other topics you'd like to have addressed in future shows. We'll see you next week.
See you next week.